Well, it is 8:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us this morning. As you can see on the slide, today we're going to be covering part 2 in a two-part series of discussing the upcoming spring 2019 Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment Conference, which will be inclusive of DSMES and DPP. So happy to have many of you here with us this morning. Sorry for the pause here. My forward for the slides not popping right up. Here we go. Sorry about that. So this is Meredith Tube. I work for Telegen, which is the Quality Innovation Network Quality Improvement Organization here in Colorado. We also cover the states of Iowa and Illinois. And what brings me to this work is we have a diabetes care task where, under contract with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they've asked us to be a local resource for our DSMES program, and also for communities, especially that serve underserved populations of Medicare beneficiaries with diabetes. So I'm very fortunate to have a very close working relationship with Inka at the state, and that's what brings me personally to these calls. Inka?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Inka Deku, and I work here at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment in the Diabetes and Cardiovascular Unit, and we have a CDC grant to support DSMES programs in Colorado by supporting you all to help increase participation in your programs. And so that's what brings me to these calls. So Meredith and I co-host and facilitate a monthly sharing call for you all, because we know that there is low utilization rates with the DSMES codes for Medicare and Medicaid. And so we're hoping that these calls are an opportunity for you all to share success stories, barriers. We can identify tools to maintain sustainability for programs in Colorado. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. Be sure to keep yourself on mute, and you can use the *6 feature. Please don't place your line on hold, because we will hear hold music sometimes. When speaking, please state your name. We really encourage in-depth sharing, so step up and step back. If you are one that just likes to chat and question, there is a chat feature on the right-hand side of your screen, so you can go ahead and chat questions to us or to the group. And then we also record these meetings, and I will send follow-up notes with the link to the recording as well.
So for those of you that have joined us in the past, you're familiar with this slide. This is where we like to see where all of you are joining us from. Damn it, sorry to be exclusive and not have the Nebraska map represented on here, but you can place your arrow out there outside of the Colorado boundary if you'd like. So to place your arrow, you'll just, over on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll get a gray bar, and on that gray bar there is a squiggly line. If you click on that, then you'll get an arrow. You can left-click on that arrow and drag it over to where you're located on the Colorado map or anywhere else. Do we have anyone that is joining us by phone only this morning?
This is Morgan. I am having trouble logging into the computer, so I think I might just be phone.
Okay. And Morgan, where are you joining us from?
Good Sam in Lafayette, Colorado.
Very good. So happy to have a pretty good representation this morning from the metro area. Lisa's joining us from Glenwood Springs, and John out in Salida. We have Janet on the line with us. She is from Great Plains in Nebraska. And then Morgan from Good Samaritan. Anyone else that we missed? Okay, very good.
So today we're going to continue brainstorming topics, not necessarily topics, but taking the list that we compiled for the October call and narrowing down the topics and really diving into some ideas for speakers. Really, what do you want from that topic in terms of materials or templates? What is the information that you really want to go home after the conference with those topics? So we have a polling question. It's a little unrelated to the topic today, but Meredith and I continue to think about how we can engage you all amongst each other as well. And so in a moment, the polling will come up. Emily, do you do the polling, or do I do it? I did it last time.
Yes, I'll open it. I thought you guys liked to have the question read first.
Okay, thank you. I just remembered, doing it last time, but thank you. So I just wanted to read the question real quick. Thank you, Emily. What method do you prefer to stay connected with your GSMES peers throughout the state? Such as a closed group on a social media website like Facebook or Basecamp, access to a listserv, in-person networking events, conferences, webinars, or other. And if you select other, maybe I'll have you voice that. So the polling will come up on your right-hand side. And select an option and be sure to hit submit, and the poll will close in about 20 seconds. All right, the poll is closed, and so it just takes a few seconds for the results to populate. And so we have access to a listserv, conferences, and webinars. And then anyone else that wasn't able to respond on the phone or on the poll, would you like to share?
Yeah, sorry, this is John, and I did not see the poll questions come up, but I would say other, and I'm very interested in like a Zoom conference.
Like a full
in-person networking.
Using Zoom? Or
or
a monthly sharing call?
Just maybe an occasional in-person networking events would be my top choice, although travel can be tough for a lot of people outside, so maybe just the power of seeing somebody's face is just my own personal preference.
Absolutely. I've been doing a lot more Zoom too as well, and it's really nice to see people's faces. Anyone else would like to share that didn't have a chance to do the poll or selected other? Be sure to put yourself off mute.
And also, as Inka mentioned earlier, if you think of something, feel free to chat that information out to the group as well. All right, so our next question for all of you, if you are a CDE, what resources or events do you currently attend to complete your 15-hour CE requirement or other licensing credentials or requirements that you have? What events or resources are you using currently for that?
This is Morgan. I go to the RMA conference, the Rocky Mountain Association for Diabetes Educators, their annual conference in September, and then I like to go over to the Metabolic Symposium that they usually do in May over at Ann Jutes.
Thank you, Morgan.
Hey, this is Jana. We are primarily using like online AADE and ADA webinars. And then we also have like an in-house journal club at Summer Health that one of our nurse ADs puts on. So she sends out like a diabetes-related journal each month. And then you have to like respond to certain questions and like engage in a community discussion in order to get the CE credit for it.
Very good. Thanks for sharing, Tina.
This is John and Salida. I go to the RMADE annual conference as well as every other year the AADE national conference.
Thanks, John. Anyone else before we move along?
This is Roseanne. I do the same thing on ADE, and then every 3 years I try to go to AADE. But I found that with the new Dana that AADE has, that there's some free courses, free online courses, and I participated in one of those, and it was quite interesting. So.
I'm sorry, Roseanne, you called that what?
So it's the Dana, D-A-N-A, which is actually an acronym, but I can't remember what it stands for. But it's something that is trying to acquaint diabetes educators with technology better. And so for AADE members, there are some courses. The one that I did was on continuous glucose monitoring. There's also one on blood glucose monitoring, and a couple of others, and they're free to AADE members. And so it's like a 5 or 6 hour course that you can do online.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for those details.
One of the reasons why we decided to have this question before we dive into the facilitated conversation for today is because Meredith and I are really thinking about what our role is in terms of providing continuing education credits. That's something that through the CDC's grant, we have the funds to do that. And so last year we did the spring conference, and we provided 7 credits for everyone at no cost. And so, you know, I want to ensure that that's of value to you all, and so, and it's a resource. And so that's why diving into the topics, I really want to be mindful of kind of like what are some of the educations you're learning from your other sources of getting your CEs, and then what can CDPHE Intelligence do to research topics that you may not be getting from those other avenues. And so we could fill that gap. And so I kind of just wanted to plant that seed in your mind as we go through the next couple of slides. So thank you, Rhea. This is a good transition. So what I did from our October call is that we had a bunch of great topics. And I spent a lot of time thinking about how to facilitate this call. And so I went and just decided to think of areas of topics. And so I came up with these. And I'm not married to these at all. I just kind of took a first stab at it. So thinking through, I looked at all the topics and I was like, okay, this sounds like communication. This sounds like technology, cardiovascular interventions, DSMS program advancement, and nutrition exercise. So I just wanted you all to take a minute and look at the topics under each heading. And first, I would like to ask you all, did I do a good job? Like, do you think something fits under there, or we should move that to another area? And then I want you all to pick your top 3 topics. And then be ready. We're going to do a round robin. And I'd like everyone to share your top 3, because then I'm going to take the top ones that you all decide on, and we're going to walk through the facilitated conversation. So just take a minute, jot some ideas down. Okay, so are there any changes? Do you see moving topics around?
Hey, Inga, it's John. These all look really good, and I wasn't here for the October call. And maybe this isn't the place for it, but I just feel like I spend so much time just marketing the programs. DSME, at least half my time is spent on getting people through the door. And it just seems like that's not what a CDE should be doing. We should just be working with people. If anyone else is experiencing that, perhaps that's a potential topic to address. But I can also just work one-on-one with somebody.
Marketing. Right.
This is Roseanne. I would agree with that. That's becoming one of the more major parts of what we are doing.
So having an actual individual go out and do marketing, or creating marketing materials?
Both. Creating marketing materials, and then also actually physically going out and marketing to physician offices. And we haven't quite figured out how to reach out to the public directly, but that's, we definitely have put together some materials to go to physicians.
Yeah, I mean, our training is in motivational interviewing and diabetes care, and I'm an exercise physiologist and all that coaching style, but then we are lost when it comes to and maybe our employers aren't recognizing that really a lot of our job, or somebody needs to have the job of really driving the program, and referrals are just not enough from a physician. There's got to be something else has to be happening to get people through the door, I think.
Great. Great ideas. Thank you. So jumping into that next question I had asked, if everyone could go and select your top three, and we added marketing to the slide here, so if that's one of them, great. So I'm just going to go through the list by last name, and you're just going to tell me your top three choices. And Maris will just mark those off real quick if she's fast enough. And I will take notes as well for the next couple of slides. So go ahead, Roseanne. What are your top three?
Develop public service announcements, how to get more support from physicians to increase referrals, and multidisciplinary approach to care, including psychology, diabetes education, and nutrition.
Lisa.
The top ones may go hand in hand. Cardiac rehab facilities and DSME programs, as well as incorporating exercise into a DSME program. And then creative ideas for participant engagement.
John.
Training on comps meters and CGM downloads, the marketing that I mentioned, and then a multidisciplinary approach to care.
Morgan, I know that you're just on the phone.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I keep trying to log into the meeting, but it's not letting me. So if you could say the list, that would be helpful.
So communication is develop public service announcements, transitioning from inpatient to outpatient appointments and avoiding readmissions, creative ideas for participant engagement, how to develop professional handouts, and then marketing. And so that's under communication. Technology advances in successful telehealth approaches, training on pumps, meters, and CGM downloads. Under cardiovascular interventions, we have heart health, self-measured blood pressure programs, hypertension and what are the new guidelines, and cardiac rehab facilities and DSMES programs. Under DSMES program advancement, we have how do you get more support from physicians to increase referrals to a DSMES program, models to partners like audiology, ophthalmologists, and podiatrists, and then under nutrition and exercise, incorporating exercise into a DSMES program, multidisciplinary approach to care to include psychology, diabetes education, and nutrition all-in-one program, and diet fads and health claims. I know that was really fast, but
no, it's okay. So I probably more about the downloads of the pump CGM and so forth. Definitely the like multidisciplinary, like cardiovascular with DSME, and then kind of the combination of inpatient, outpatient with doctor referrals, because I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana?
I would say mine would be the marketing, but more from the standpoint of like if anybody's using or ways to successfully use motivational interviewing to increase show rates. So trying to get people in so we can get people signed up, but our no-show rate is pretty massive. So kind of marketing. And then I would say the let's see, maybe the incorporating exercise into DSMES programs, and probably then probably the training on pump meters and CGM downloads.
And Shannon?
I am still working on accreditation. Hopefully I'll be accredited by the end of January. But my top three would be how to get more support from my physicians to increase referrals. My second would be advances in successful telehealth approaches. And then third, training on the pumps, meters, and CGM downloads.
Tavia, I know that you're just here as listening, so don't be offended if I skip over you unless there's something you really want to share. So.
No, I'm great listening. Thank you so much.
All right, so we have I really want to get to the next. So I heard a lot about marketing. So we're going to go to the next slide and really focus on that just because of time right now, but I really appreciate those top choices because now I can really start to narrow things down. And then offline, I can start to really have more maybe one-on-one conversations with you all. But this is just an example I wanted to show us how I was thinking this conversation would go. So I just selected audiology as an idea. I had as a topic, and so like the relationship between audiology and diabetes. And so this is an example where it's could be a skill that diabetes educators could learn. If you, I learned from an audiologist that CDEs can actually learn how to use an app to screen for hearing loss. And then a speaker could be an audiologist, and then the takeaway is like a specific referral template to use between DSMES programs and audiologists in Colorado. So that's just an example of kind of how I want to start to really think through these topics. So we're going to use marketing as the example because I just heard a lot about kind of like how do you advertise your program? And if we have time, maybe we'll do another one with the top choices. So with marketing, is it something that you just kind of want to learn more about, or is it more of a skill that you could develop materials, or both?
This is Morgan. I like when how Roseanne talks about, getting more of the public service announcements and making people more aware, and then, adding kind of maybe that marketing piece with it, because, over here, our recognition only started in April, and literally we're in an office almost monthly trying to get more physicians to refer over to our program. So just making things more aware, more people aware, the community aware. Yeah.
Has anyone been to any conferences in the past where marketing was a topic and something that you learned from that topic, or a potential speaker in your community, I have access to some communications here at CDPHE, so I could just put that on the list of our marketing specialist here at CDPHE as a potential speaker. But anyone else have like within your system?
Within our health system, we have a marketing team. They're very supportive, and I can just have them do an ad, and they go in the paper, and they've got PSAs, and they have a whole thing there where people show up, and then we have to go get the referral in arrears. But it's probably not so much the marketing as perhaps, yeah, we would all love for the doctors to refer, and I think they do. When I ask doctors, they'll tell me that I've been sending the referrals, but they're giving a pamphlet and or they're sending over a referral, and then we're trying to track them down, and that whole system. Somehow, no one's really excited about diabetes education. Maybe that's what it is. It's like, what are we missing as an industry that's not getting people driving through the door? So, that's what I am spinning my wheels on, because we have anyone that goes through our program joins our exercise classes as well, and we've got great results because of that, but it's getting those folks. And yeah, I don't want to hijack the conversation, but that's sort of
No, Don, I understand your pain. I think a lot of our doctors and our community is unaware of the DSME availability to them. That they fear their insurance isn't going to cover it, or the doctors are just simply not aware. It's on the back burner. I don't think there's been a good success with letting the docs know that this is a choice that they have for their patients.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we just met with our local physicians. They're a private practice, and they're, as far as their quality measures that they're reporting to CMS, A1C is above 9. So if they have, hopefully you're all aware of, the physician offices are being paid lump sum quality improvement measures on biometrics. In our particular clinic here, it shows A1C is above 9, and they're all very nervous about the number of A1Cs above 9 in their clinic. And so they are referring now literally everybody, and we're going to start doing a telemedicine we're going to call in when they're with the patient at the end of their appointment. We're going to call in, do a Zoom, 3 minutes of a warm handoff, and say, we really want to get together with you. We're the diabetes education team, and we're going to try that. But they're very motivated, I think. The physicians should be. We're going to figure out how to get everybody moving.
Good ideas, everyone. I always look at the clock and I'm like, we just got into the conversation. So we have our noon call. Everyone wants to come back, but as always, I'll take these notes and just to kind of respect everyone's time. I just wanted to go through the rest of the slides real quick, just because of our next call I'm really excited about as well. Next call is the third Wednesday in January. Today was an exception just because of the holidays. But I'm really excited to show you all the new CDC DSMES toolkit that they just released a couple weeks ago. I will send out the link to you all in an email, but I kind of also just wanted to highlight this, that we will just do a walkthrough webinar. Our next sharing call will just kind of walk through the website and see kind of how this can support your DSMES program. It was something that I had as a strategy and activity for my work here with the CDC, and they just pretty much handed me, on a gold platter of exactly what I wanted to have for you all. So be sure to get onto that call in January, and of course, these are all of our resources available to you all, and then our contact information, as always. Feel free to email, call, and then the evaluation will pop up on the right-hand side right now. And so please, please, please take the evaluation. You can, your input, we do look at those evaluation results and we try and make for you.
Can I ask a question? This is Anna. Will this these slides be available to us afterwards when you email us?
I emailed the webinar link.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. I can just email them. I normally don't email the PDF because it's I can't do that as a feature through my this email platform I use. But if you want the slides, I'm happy to send them to you.
I just really want the references that would help us. That's my main thing.
Absolutely.
And Shannon, also, if you want to do a one-on-one call, that would be an option too, because there are a lot of resources that we have even outside of what's listed on the slide, and I'd be happy to share that. Very good. And then maybe if you could, well, we have your email address from the registration information, so we can email you a link to sign up for the listserv where everyone gets the messages that Inka and I put out to this entire group.
Okay.
The only other thing, Emily, I wanted to ask real quick, would it be an option to keep, or how long will this event stay open if anyone has any other thoughts that they wanted to share that we don't have time to get to, that they could chat in? Would that be an option for just, say, 2 or 3 minutes after we end?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay. So if you all have any other ideas, I'll take it back to the slide that we were on. Feel free to chat in any other thoughts that you have. All right. With that, thank you all so much for joining. And as Inka mentioned, feel free to join us again at noon if you would like. Otherwise, we'll talk to you all soon. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.